you should think about competing. But during my day, bikini was not even available. It was just straight bodybuilding for women. So that was a little bit too hard for me. Didn't really want to push myself like that. And the diet scared me because I always laugh. The bodybuilders in my gym, they were eating boiled chicken, drinking raw eggs. And I was like, yeah, that is not the life that I want. They were mean, they were irritable. I was like, nah, not doing that. So years later, I stayed in the gym, kept building muscle, became a personal trainer, did all those things. And I have a cousin, shout out to him, Kevin White, who is also like my brother. One day he just decided out of nowhere that he was going to compete. And he also was this skinny, tall, skinny guy, no muscle. So he pretty much transformed, started competing. He competed for the first couple of times on his own, no coach, no opposing coach. And I watched him over the next several years just developing the sport. And I actually went to like his first show and I was like, wow. So I was like, yeah, maybe one day, but I always laugh at myself because I'm always like, never say never. So when I went to his show for the first time, it was the first time I saw the bikini women. And when they did the back pose, I was like beside myself. I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, that is like the most degrading thing that you could do as a woman. They're literally sticking their butts out. Like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know if this is for me, dog. I don't know. So I don't know. All of a sudden, I just got the bug of watching my cousin, and I was like, you know what? Why not? I was about to turn 50, and I said, oh, what a great way to celebrate turning 50 is just to do a competition. One and done. That's it. I just want to do it one time, see what it is, what it feels like, and I'm going to move on in life. So I did that. At the time, the person he was dating was a coach, so I got with her. COVID delayed me 1 year, so I just kept training. And at the age of what was I, 51, and I guess that was like 2021, I popped out in my first show. I think I did the Pennsylvania Muscle. Everybody was basically coming back from COVID. And I remember saying, well, I'm going to do every category I can do because I'm one and done. So I had some sponsors. I'm just going to ball out. So, I did my category. I might have did like another category, and I definitely did open. And my coaches deterred me from doing open because they were like, I don't know, because you're going to be competing against a lot of younger women. Everybody's coming back from COVID. It's probably going to be smacked. I don't want you to be upset, get your feelings hurt if you don't do well. Well, lo and behold, this little girl out of like 15 or 16 girls, way younger than me, she came in second place. So I was like, wow, in the whole process, the whole journey from the prep to the working out, the dieting, I just loved. And I loved to really be able to see how far I could push myself, to see how determined are you? Can you be dedicated? Can you stick to a diet? Can you stick to your coach's, workout plan? Can you do it all? So that moment on stage, and it's so funny because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what the morning show was versus the night show. I didn't know what prejudging was. I didn't know the formation, none of it. Because I was basically told right before going on stage. So I just went out there and I had a ball and I lived my best life. And it was great. And when it was all over, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And then I was like, well, if I did so well here, why not try to turn pro? I had no idea what pro was, what it really meant. So I just decided that I was going to continue in the journey. And one thing about me, once I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it. So it took me a few years from that show to me turning pro in August of this year. But the ride has been amazing. And that's my story. I just had one person who is my cousin really inspire me and teach me a lot about the sport. And, I've always loved the gym. I always loved pushing and pulling weight, always loved fitness. So this has definitely been like a very happy home for me. So
Yeah, everybody has their thing that got them started in the sport. Be it family or friend. Like you said, lose your mother. I can feel you on that because this is when I started doing this. Was I was taking care of my mom. She was sick for a long time, and then I was a fan of body for a long time, especially for you ladies. I was a fan of body for a long time, and then taking care of her, I need something to help with my mindset. So I just started doing content and reaching out, doing interviews and making stuff. And then after she passed, I needed a purpose because
Yes.
I was taking care of her. One person I have for myself. Like I didn't have no kids, I don't have no wife. I just got me, and I found something to give
Right.
me a purpose. And that's why I learned from some body ladies who got into bodybuilding. You found something to give you a purpose. It's something about it. It's the discipline, the regimental practices, the patterns, and the plans that's in bodybuilding that I think some people really like, especially if somebody who has a mind where you had a mindset because you want to get into your early age, but back then, like in the early, I think the part of the 80s and 90s, there weren't that many divisions for women other than bodybuilding. And then there was fitness came along a little later. And then
Yeah.
here comes some other divisions. And Bikini, where it's been around for a good bit, not a big fan of it per se, but I respect you competitors. I have interviewed quite a few bikini pros.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
So
we're out here. Of us,
yeah.
we rock. We work just as hard as the bodybuilders. Trust and believe. I
Mm, Ah, let's agree to disagree. But yeah, it's a totally different level. Everybody has you have to maintain a certain look compared to the
yeah.
other divisions.
Well, I'll say that within my level, I work just as hard as the bodybuilders in their level. Like I understand their, what they have to do and the amount of muscle that they have. I get that. So, yes, within my little box, I just saying, I work very, very hard in my box.
So what was that like for you that first time finally getting on stage after many years of following your dream?
Incredible. So I'm also like I come from a background of commercial modeling. So I've had a very successful career in commercial modeling where I've been on TV, I've done television, magazines, billboards, the whole gamut. So stage fright was not an issue for me. It never has been. So I just basically got out there, had a great time. It was a feeling of euphoria, and it was just like, wow, I really did that. I really stuck to the plan, got here, got on stage, and like I said, it was no pressure whatsoever because I'm like, this is it. I'm just doing this one time and I'm out of here. So like it really was like just showing up like at a party with a bunch of girls and wearing a bikini and twirling, you know what I mean? And smiling. And it was like a beauty pageant for me. You know what I mean? So it was great. It was the best feeling, and to come away victorious, and exceed the expectations of what I expected, what my coach expected, because I was a real pain in the ass. I would say to my coaches, girls, do you think it's going to show up? What am I looking at? And they'd be like, we don't know. You won't know until show day. It could be 2, it could be 20. So I would always be asking these same old questions for like reassurance, or do you think I can win? Do you think? And my coach would always be like, I don't know. We just got to bring your best package. We will see. Just go out there, have fun. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. So I really went into it with no expectations. It was just doing it, you know what I mean? And seeing that I could do it and check that, out of my bucket list. So, like I said, I exceeded everyone's expectations and then got the bug in the process. It was definitely like, I don't even think I was off stage when I was like, oh, I'll definitely be back. It's not over for me, you know what I mean? So, my only regret is that, and it's always God's timing, of course. I just wish I could have gotten to this sport sooner because I definitely would definitely be setting higher goals for myself. Like we know I'll never be able to go to the Olympia and do certain things. People say, well, you did a Masters Olympia, and maybe, but I'm still like, I'm 55 and those girls are over 40. So I don't know, but I'm just like, what will be, and if God says it will be, it will be. So right now, I just enjoy where I'm at. Like, it's still mind blowing to me, when people be like, "You're a pro," and I'm like, "Who? Me?" Like, I still have not really processed it, and I just turned pro in August, so it's been pretty incredible. But I'm looking forward to the future because I feel like, even though it's still pressure and some stress, it's more fun now because, I got the card. So I'm just going to be out here competing, having fun, you know what I mean? No pressure. And however God leads me, he leads me, and if I don't know if it's possible for me to go to the Masters Olympia, sure, why not? But it's not like set in my mind that, that has to be or will happen. It's just about just continually to push myself, continually growing, and exceeding the last package for me at this age.
Yeah. Well, I know a lady a while back I interviewed. She is 59 years old. She went to her first Olympia. Sometimes it's about the right time, right show. Master
Yeah.
Olympia is that's also happening. You're still technically Olympian, and it's also it can qualify you for the Olympia if you win in your class. And I know it's tough because I talk to ladies like yourself who are in their 50s, 60s, who got in the sport later in life. And some who took some time off, who step away from it to either start a career, have a family, and
Yeah.
then, especially when the kids are grown and, there's not much else to do, to get back in it because they had a passion for it. One lady
Yeah.
I follow, she's 70 years old and she competed a good part of the 80s and 90s, took a break, did some stuff and came back and she got a pro card. She was also at the
Mm.
North Americans that weekend. She was competing in women's of 70 plus. That's Carmen Brady, and she's an actress. Remember, she was in the movie Napoleon Dynamite. She was Starla, you know. Um, I think everybody finds their purpose when they get into sport. What excites them. And you mentioned your coach. So who's your coach and how y'all have been together?
So my coach, his name is Jean Gibson. He's been competing. He's around the same age as me. He's been competing a long time. When he was younger, he really, really, really loves the sport. I mean, he's just such a blessing. So he is also my significant other. So that's kind of like how I went to, long story short, I went to school with him. I known him for years, but he moved to a different state, and I happened to run across him at ShopRite, of all places, right before I was going to compete for the first time for nationals. And I knew he loved the sport. I was like, "Hey, want to sponsor me?" So that's how it began. And unfortunately, the prep and a lot of things happened before that national show was not good for me. I didn't do well at nationals that year, and he was there for towards the end of my journey to see a lot of things and ultimately see me compete. And when it was over, I mean, I got hammered. Like, I was done. Like, mentally, I was like, I don't think this is the sport for me because I was literally walking around in my town thinking I'm the baddest 50-year-old in the world. And when I got to nationals, I found out that was a damn lie. And I had a lot of more work to do. I couldn't believe how these women were coming. I'm like, oh my God. So I really was, candidly sitting backstage feeling like a jackass. And I'm like, I'm done with this sport. So my boyfriend John, was like, yo, I know what I'm doing. If you just trust me, believe in me, give me time, do what I tell you to do, I promise you will turn pro one day. And we did. So we worked, this was our third year together. I've gotten sixth place, I'm sorry, second place 6 times. So finally, in August, it was my time. So yeah, really appreciative of him.
That's good because you know what? There's quite a few couples in sport, and that's the point of sharing the same passion. I know ladies whose husband's not a bodybuilder, but they still support him. I know some
Yeah.
ladies whose husband who are bodybuilders, and sometimes they don't like the fact that they're like competition with wife. But a man should never be competition with a woman. Men and women were different, species and breeds. We have different things, But it's good that he's supporting you and your passion.
All the
Because
way.
I remember one lady, a couple ladies told me that when they got into bodybuilding, the husband didn't like the way because with one thing about bodybuilding, especially if you look at the higher end of the muscle development, like with divisions like physique and physique is like up to the higher end, but divisions like wellness, Even those girls are getting buff. But bikini, and there's a new division. Excuse me. Called fit model. I'm not going to. I interviewed a couple of competitors and nice ladies, but I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon about this. I understand what it's about getting attention, about maybe bringing more people in, but still, it's not really bodybuilding. It's just it's a throwback to when bikini first started, and like anything, each division evolves over time. Like if you remember early bodybuilding days to like Linda Murray and Iris Kyle, to
Or
people like to people like right now just saw Ashley Jones. I got to meet her when I was in Tampa this summer. People like Andrea Shaw.
yeah,
It's each.
Miss Pretty Muscle. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm a fan of hers. I think
It-
like one thing.
uh,
I call her. She's my girlfriend.
yeah,
I
um,
mean, it's yeah. She doesn't know about it, but we're gonna get married someday. I think she brings a certain level to it, both muscle and femininity. Like this is why I
yeah,
often bring her up, because this is why this what for me what fuels me is what women like yourself who support my content. And to quote my favorite character, the other guy says, "If you get us something, never do it for free." And a friend of mine, her name is Eunice. She runs her own company called Bad Rap. She's out this weekend in Vegas supporting the Steve Carr show. She was at Olympia back in 2023, and she
nice.
saw Andrea. And I always want to show this because this is why when she tells me she loves my support and she's thankful, and she autographed this personally, her. And this is what keeps me fueled, as a
Mhm.
content, because sometimes some of you ladies can be a pain in the ass.
There.
Yeah. So now you get your pro card. What was that feeling like for you that day when you're on stage and say, "Yeah,
Yo,
now you're IFB Pro"?
yo, I'm about to cry right now just thinking about it. Yo, it was the most memorable, life changing experience besides like having a child. It's up at the top of the major things that I have accomplished in my life because whew, that fight was so hard for me. Like I pushed, like, like all these women push, but I pushed. I'm talking about 3, 4 hours of cardio a day, like the diet, just one time my body just broke down and I had to be in bed for like 2, 3 days just to recover. Like I've had all types of issues from skin breaking out, hair loss, my eczema that I haven't had since a child, like popped up right before my last competition of getting my pro card. So to be on stage when I did the prejudging show and I was in the middle, I was like, oh my God, I am dead center. And I'm talking about it might have been 7 of us. Like typically it would be 8. And you know how they do, they split the middle. So you don't know if you're first or second. No, dog. This time I am dead center. And I'm like, not really. And see, when I compete, like I kind of black out. I'm in the moment, but I don't know what's going on around me. I don't focus on the other women. I'm focusing on breathing, sucking my core into my ass, smiling, trying to look like I'm unbothered and this is all effortless for me, which is not. So when I got off stage, everybody was congratulating me. My phone was blowing up because so many people watched all these texts. And I was like, nah, nah. Like, I don't want to hear it because I had been here 6 times before of splitting the middle, thinking that I got it and I didn't get it. So I'm like, until they called my name, I don't care. I was dead center because a lot can happen between prejudging and a night show. I don't know. So I'm just like, I'm not going to believe it. So when when they called my name, it was like, oh my God, it was crazy. Like I just, oh, the feeling, like finally. And then I actually won the overall. So that was another, and it was just me and one other young lady who was a badass. And I'm really like, when I got on stage, the handlers were like, okay, you got to go right back. You got to go right. And I forgot about the overall. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, no, I got another category. I'm over 50. I got to do that. They're like, no, 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 it's live and happening. You got to go back out. So I went back there out kind of aloof, like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't really care. I just got the pro card. I don't care about this shit. I just want the pro card. So in that moment, like within a few seconds, I was like, wait a minute, chick, why not try to? Who said you can't win this shit too? Like, so I just remember like a different emotion coming over, like, okay, girl, let's fight. Time to fight. And when they called my name, I just remember like toppling over. You know, I wasn't going to fall to my knees or anything because I'm like, I'm not going to be that dramatic, but I could have. But it was crazy. Like, and to hold that big trophy, because they give you a nice big trophy for the overall, I was like, this right here is incredulous. And then I had somebody come to me right away. We want to interview you. Who? You want to interview me? Like, dude, I felt like I won the lottery, $1,000,000. I felt like such a star. I felt like such a badass. Like I said, it was the best feeling. And I was super proud because I know how hard I worked. And everybody works hard, but I really worked hard. I've sacrificed so much, like so many people, family, friends, outings, gatherings, vacations. I hadn't had a vacation in a couple of years because, as you know, this sport is so expensive. So I'm like, whatever I would spend on a vacation, I'm just going to put all my ducats over here to this competing because I was so determined. I was like, I will never have a vacation until I turn pro. So um that moment was just incredulous, and I will never ever forget it. And whenever I can use that IFBB pro, it is everywhere. It is on my body now. I've had a tattoo. I've added, because I have an apparel line, I added that to my clothing. It's on my car. I'm waiting for my weight belt. I'm like, if I could stamp that shit on my forehead, it'll be on my forehead. But that's how much it meant to me. And it's just really incredulous from a girl who didn't know what a damn pro meant or even care to like now I'm in the fight of my life and I'm going to get this pro card if it kills me. That's how I, not literal, but that's how I felt. Like I am not going to stop until, I get it. And the support I had was incredulous. My whole community was behind me and I didn't even realize they were rocking with me like that. So we would do live updates every week and I'd be like, this is where we're at. This is what's happening. Here's my diet. Here's this, here's that. And then when I didn't get it, my community would be so upset. You know what I mean? Be like, I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what they want. And I'd be like, look, guys, it's okay. When it's my time, it's my time. And I'm not going to stop. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, next year, a couple of years from now, but we're going to keep going. So that's what a lot of people say they admire the most about me. I just would not quit. I would not give up. I was never negative because, a lot of women or even people would put stuff in my ear. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's politics, it's racism. I'm like, no, dog, it's none of that. It's none of that. I see black girls when they're pro card every freaking show. Cut it out. It's you just gotta be the best on that day because these women are coming. No games are being played, and they're wives, they're professional women, they're mothers, they're all these things. I'm not any more special than them as far as my daily life, but you just got to bring it. So, that was basically it. But the feeling is just, even a couple of months later, that feeling is still like, wow. So yeah.
You sound like Oprah Winfrey from a co-host. All my life I had to fight. I
It
had to
hasn't
fight
been all
my
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 life,
brothers, my daddy.
but right, but it was a good 3 years. And listen, I'm appreciative because a lot of people had told me, like, I know women who turned pro their first national show. I know women who took a couple of shows. It took me 7 within what, 3 years. But I know women who have been doing a national show for 10 years and still have not prospered. So I feel like I did it in a pretty short amount of time, you know what I mean, as compared to a lot of people. So I'm really proud of that too. You know what I'm saying? So I've only been in the sport for what, 4 years now, and I think I have a total, including nationals, of 10 shows under my belt, where I'm competing against women, they're like, oh, this is number 45 for me. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So I am blessed. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for sure.
Yeah, the one thing is back in the day was that many pro qualifiers, and then you have masters. Now you have in a couple of weeks, I know a couple of ladies are going to do masters USA's. Then you have the champion, the national championships in Texas next month. Now there's
Yeah.
quite a few, and also the shows. Just like I said, a lady I interviewed a while back, she just did a show today in Romania, but there was not enough competitors. She didn't get a pro card. It's
Oh, no.
also, yeah, it happens like that quite often, especially for the women's bodybuilding division and even physique. But it's about timing, where you want to be placed, how you feeling, how much you want this. Because you know what, a lot of ladies get the pro card, say, you know what, I'm done. I'm just gonna go live life because it's suspense to compete
True.
as an amateur.
Yeah.
You know,
Happened.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty,
Women
yeah.
I compete against that they beat me for the pro card, I don't see them on the scene at all. Because I'm always watching all the women. I'm always looking up shows, seeing who is the top in these shows, and a lot of them are there, but there are a few who have totally disappeared since getting their pro card.
Mhm. I think that was the thing, that's
Yeah.
ambition, because that one thing, especially when you have that moniker IFBB, that's like almost being, especially if you work in the fitness world, it's almost like being like a mechanic or engineer or a contractor. It's like it's license and bonding for fitness.
The respect is crazy. When I see people out, they just be like, hi, IFBB Pro. I don't even think a lot of these people know what the heck that really means. They just know, and they're like, that girl right there, she's a professional bodybuilder. Like, she's the real deal. And I'm like, oh, they talking about this. Who would ever thought that they would be talking about little old Nacone Elizabeth Martin saying that she is a professional bodybuilder? And yeah, that was the other reason why I went hard for it, because I'm a personal trainer. I own my own studio along with my family member, Kenya. Hey, Kenya. You know what I mean? We've been in business 5 years, and I'm like, man, if I had that title behind my name, I just feel like you see that and you're like, this girl knows what she's doing. She's been through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, the journey has definitely helped me be a better personal trainer, at a better service to my clients, because I'm like, you can't tell me shit about a diet, dog. You know what I'm saying? I know how to freaking train, because when I got with my coach, one of the eye opening things, now listen what I said. I've been in the gym since I was 26. I got with my coach when I was 51. Yo, my training was bullshit. Like, and I came to my first national stage. One of my best friends was calling me olive oil. And I just kept saying, shut up. You don't know the sport. You don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone. You're supposed to lean out. You're supposed to be. And she would be like, are you okay? Are you sick? Like, how much more weight is your coach going to have you lose? And I would be like, shut up. And then when I got with my coach, it was like, oh my God. And now I see pictures. You really were olive oil girl. Like, so I had to build legs. And I'm talking about pressing 1,000 pounds on the leg press when I was only doing 40, 90 pounds, like ridiculous shit, bro. So when I really learned how to live, how to isolate the mind muscle connection, it got really juicy for me. And I'm like, wow. And then when I popped out after I had been with him 1 year, whoa, they were like, that girl's going to be a problem. So yeah, and we were on from then. So yeah. So like I said, the journey has taught me a lot that I could really give back to my clients. And I'm like, I don't want to hear excuses about a diet. You know what I mean? You're either going to do it or you're not. There's really no shortcuts. You just got to commit. You got to stay dedicated. And, it doesn't happen overnight, unfortunately. So you just have to be patient and trust the journey. That's the biggest phrase I've heard. Trust the journey, trust the journey, trust the journey. Because I
Here
would be
how I
the
say
girl, oh
it.
my God, where's my tie-ins?
Here's how I say it. I don't say trust the journey just yet, or trust the process. Understand it first, and when you understand it, then trust it. Because some things, like you said, You're 26, you
Yeah.
know shit about training. Then until you met your coach, your man now, he learned you some things that you probably didn't understand or see. And that's a good thing about having a good coach. They see factors that as a competitor you might miss. I interviewed a young lady
Yeah.
yesterday. She's done everything. She's a figure competitor, an amateur. She's doing everything on her own because where she lives at is not a lot of bodybuilders, and the next person would be like 3 or 4 hours away from her. You got to
Mm-hmm.
find the things that help you in your process and that you
True.
understand. And then when you understand it, then you can trust it. So, folks, we got Nacone here. We're going to do this. We're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her link in the description of this live. If you're interested in, she says she's also a trainer. She has a studio. If somebody interested, or you work with people who are mostly lifestyle, or you think about you want to work with, competitive bodybuilders too.
So I'm working with all ages, lifestyle, and I'm privately coaching a couple of people. You know what I mean? Because that was the other thing. I wanted to now get into coaching other bikini competitors, but I was not going to do it until I had that card. So now that I have that card, and I wanted to have all the knowledge that I could have because that's serious. Coaching someone is serious. I don't take it lightly. I'm not trying to play games with anyone's time, money, or physique. So, yeah, but a lot of my clients are lifestyles, all ages, you know what I mean? So, and I have men too.
All righty. So we're going to jump into her social media. And guys, and this is no offense to her. I do this because I know you guys out there. I know you guys because I had to say my crime Nacone. I am what you call a mercenary smo. But I try to calm down my fantasies and everything like that. It's something I gotta work on. But it's something that takes time. But guys out there who are fans of these ladies, be it bikini, wellness, bodybuilding, physique, be respectful to these ladies. She got a man. No D pics. Don't send that. Stop it. She's a pretty woman. I know she is, but guys, no one wants to see that. Come on. So we jump here. Yeah, you'll be blocked. So we jump here in her social media, and here's the interview she did, and it's really, 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 you really feel her passion, and she's giving an interview with I think it's the NPC News Online.
Yes.
There you go.
Everybody, it's Josh with Forged by Iron for NPC News Online at the 2025 North American Championships with your over 55 overall bikini winner,
Nacone Martin.
You forgot new IFBB Pro, Nacone.
IFBB Pro! Oh my God.
So how does that feel?
I've been about this for 3 years. It feels amazing, but it hasn't really sunken in yet. But
I think sometime middle of the night, you'll wake up in a cold sweat and go, oh my God, I'm a pro.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. It's like...
So how long have you been competing?
I've been competing about 4 years. So this is my 9th national show, and I've done 12 shows in total. So I haven't been on the scene long, so I feel even more blessed, you know what I mean? So
what did you do different preparing for this show to bring home that hardware today?
So they told me from the last show, which I was here, 6 weeks ago, they told me little better conditioning and darker tan. So we definitely did those things. So
well, yeah. You listened,
we listened,
and this is what happens.
Yes.
So is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yes, I would like to give a shout out to my coach and boyfriend, John Gibson, my posing coach, Vanya Auguste, my friends and families, because I have been on everybody's nerves, in my hometown of Trenton, New Jersey. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. We did it! Oh!
So you wanted to thank everybody.
Yes.
Is there anybody you want to say sorry to? Like everybody for being mean?
No,
I love it.
The territory.
So now that you can kind of eat whatever you want within limits, what's on that menu tonight now that you're done with the stage?
So I heard that a lot of restaurants closed early in Pittsburgh. I really wanted a burger and fry, but I don't know. We're just going to see what's open. So maybe pizza, whatever I can get my hands on.
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to plug them, but the hotel has a pretty good cheeseburger.
Oh, they do? Okay, that's good to know, Josh. Thank you.
Worst case scenario,
okay, no,
you don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yes, and I want a Pepsi. Yes.
You need that sugar.
Yes.
All right.
God.
I like
Thank
it.
you.
So it's Josh with Forged by Iron.
What? I didn't hear you. Joshua, what?
I said it's Josh with Forged by Iron.
And Nicole Horton.
There you go. We're out of here, everybody.
Thank you. Oh my.
That's so sweet. You know, you get your burger.
I did. I did. Yeah, we went across the street. They had like a pub there. So the burger wasn't that great because it tasted like a frozen burger, but whatever. It was what it was, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
But wow,
Well,
this is incredible.
yeah.
That was
And,
today.
yeah, and that's one of your clients you're working with.
Yes.
You enjoy being a coach and a trainer, working with people, helping them,
I love
improve
it.
their lives and their health and fitness.
I love it, man. I love it. Like, and I'm a crier. So I love transforming people, not all my clients, but there's several clients that have to do check-ins every week with their weight. When they send me that text and that weight has gone down, I just scream, I just cry, you know what I mean? So I'm a very, very hands-on coach. You know, I love to touch my clients. I'm very personal with them. My clients are not only my clients, they're my friends. I celebrate their life. They celebrate mine. It's like, and like you said earlier, you know, George, about purpose. Like this gives me purpose and fuel, you know. So it what fuels me. So my only regret is that I didn't go to school for it, you know what I mean, and get a degree in it. But that's okay because God led me here. And I had no intent on doing this at all. Not being a personal trainer, none of that. I wanted to be an actress and a model. You know what I mean? And then my focus shift, you know, maybe 10 or so years ago, where I just got into the personal training and the modeling and the acting scene kind of burnt me out because I was tired of being on set. People think that life is so glamorous. It's not. I was tired of, you know, all that stuff, traveling back and forth to New York because I live in Jersey, doing casting calls. So I was like, yeah, you know, I had a great career and I'm just going to fall back. No, well, a lot of people don't know. I still do it. I have an agent in New York City. Shout out to Funny Face Today. And the great thing, one of the only probably good things about COVID is that it forced the, you know, agencies or whatever to do castings online. So now I can just do a casting from my house and submit it instead of getting on a train and going into New York. So
Yeah.
that was the plus.
Yeah. And this is your brand, and it's what's the name of it?
That is my brand. It is called Enoken. It is my name spelled backwards. And my slogan is I know I can. And the slogan behind that is just me looking in the mirror, you know, most of my life and telling myself that I know I can do it. Because, like I said, I came from, you know, a person who had no self esteem, someone who tried to commit suicide once. And I just didn't have any belief in self due to some of the things that my mother had said to me that kind of lived on in my head forever, which is why I'm so appreciative of my gym family, because once I joined my gym family, it gave me the confidence and the drive to go out and pursue my modeling and acting career and so on. And now we're here. So that I know I can is basically my mantra of me looking in the mirror every day and telling me I can do whatever it is that I want to do.
Yeah. And you said you were olive oil because where's Popeye? I am
That's
what I
my
am.
first
That's all what
show.
I am.
That's my first show, George. That's it right there.
Well, you have a nice body. I mean,
Oh,
especially
I
the
mean, you know, my
yeah.
leg, and I didn't really grow that much, you know, unfortunately, from then to my first national show. So you can imagine, I got my feelings hurt very badly. But it's
Well,
all either you were going to quit the sport or you were going to show up and do the work and hopefully one day show out. And I chose the latter.
well, the thing is, that's the thing about this sport. You have to have determination, consistency, persistence. I mean, discipline. Because if you don't have that, it can easily be distracted. People talk about motivation. Motivation can change with the wind. You can get up one morning and say, you know what, I feel like doing this, but I don't feel like doing that.
True.
And you have to understand what's involved in it. The sacrifice, not so much the sacrifice, but investment in bringing your best shape, your best conditioning. And again, you're competing with women who could be 20 years, 10 years younger than you, and still maintaining your own. And and also again winning the overall. And this is a video from her show here. And wow, wow. I mean, you listen, wow. I mean,
Ew.
like I,
Yeah.
like I said,
And I'm so mad because when you see I do the back pose, I bobbled. I never bobbled. And that bobble pissed me off, but it didn't stop me, thank God from getting it. But when I tell you all the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours that I put into my posing, because that posing, I was so disrespectful to that process. And I'm thinking because I was a model and I did so many runway shows, this posing ain't going to be shit. Yeah, okay. So, man, I was posing all day, every day, at home, at the gym, in the locker room, at my studio. And I couldn't even go to bed at night as we got closer to the show because I was running through the posing in my head. Like, don't forget to do this. Don't forget to squeeze here or suck in here. Because here's something interesting, George. So the reason I was told that I didn't prosper the other times was because I had a bad habit of dropping my core, especially when I transitioned. So in my head, I was thinking that my core was tight, but it wasn't. So, this past season, I worked so hard on the core, doing the what do you call them? Oh God, the vacuums, doing some other things. I was giving myself the lymphatic massages. Yo, I was going ham on my core, and I'm still not thrilled with my core. My core can still be better, but next year I'm gonna, fix some things again. But that's been like my biggest problem is my core. Like I'm like, what is happening? So, but yeah,
yeah. I think everybody has that one issue that they have to work on. It's
yeah,
we have our strengths, but also we need to work on our weaknesses too. Especially
yeah,
when you are in a sport like bodybuilding, you have to be in front of judges. You have to, bring your best shape, working conditioning. There's
yeah.
so much involved in it. And I interviewed a young lady a while back. She's also a bikini competitor and also an actress herself. Her name is Chantel, and she's inspiring to be an IFBB pro. She did a show last month, which was the Amateur Olympia. She has great look, great physique. It's about what you want to bring in the sport.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And the thing is, it's a passion sport. And it's, again, the sport. Now you're IFBB pro. You're at another level, and now you have to step it up a little bit because you compete with women who have been competing a long time, who are much younger. They have particularly certain things that they fit the aesthetic the judges are looking for. And again, this sport it's not a sport you can really make a living off of. For you women, I say it's quite often. For the men, all you gotta do is wear a pair of banana hammers and board shorts. That's it. For your ladies, you have to have both, a presentation of very appealing. You have to have the muscle conditioning, the aesthetics. I mean, between the cost of your suits, the cost of travel to the shows, hair, makeup, especially for a woman of color, that's the thing that you really have to work on the most.
Yes. Yeah, it's very